Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts89. Well, I have never been a big fan of stand-up comedy. The only stand-up comedians I ever paid to see were, the greats, like Joan Rivers and Kathy Griffin. I did have tickets for Roseanne like 15 years ago, but she cancelled and didn't come to Australia. This is before she was cancelled. And I just realised why. I've been watching more comedy lately and enjoying it more, and I just realised why. And it's kind of funny how I saw this little video from Matt Rafe. Now, Matt Rafe is this straight, white, attractive, rich, privileged, gross comedian. I watched a few of his videos back in the day and I kind of thought he was funny, but then he went all MAGA and he started just being racist and sexist and making, jokes about, women and grapes and you know what I mean. I can't say the R word, but you know what I mean. And just really gross stuff that he got attacked for. And then he, doubled down and started saying, well, I'm a comedian, I should be able to joke about anything and everything, and if you don't like it, then there's something wrong with you. And I sort of realised why that sort of was so gross was when you're on the top of the food chain or perceived to be on the top of the food chain, everything you do is punching down. When you're a straight white male, everything you do, unless you're talking about yourself, everything you do is punching down. Everything is sexist, racist, misogynistic, transphobic, everything. You can't go anywhere with your comedy because unless you're making fun of your own community, which they usually don't because their own community is too, fragile to handle that, they usually just start trashing everyone else. And it's basically, at least his comedy now is just for the racists and the bigots to sit back and laugh at all the people they think they're superior to. And it's really sickening. So I saw this little video of him trashing trans people and I was like, oh, this is just disgusting. And it was all about not just trashing them, but justifying trashing them, being like, I should be able to make fun of these people. Blah, blah, blah. I should be able to be racist and transphobic and homophobic and everything because I'm white and that's what we do. And that's our privilege. So I should be able to be that. How dare you? And it's really gross. And I realised the reason why I've been watching more comedy is because I've been watching diverse comedy. I've been watching black comedians and Asian comedians and female comedians. I sort of realised the reason why I'm enjoying this comedy is because most of these people, they're self-deprecating, they're making fun of their own communities, and even if they do make fun of other communities, they're usually perceived as punching up because they're perceived as being beneath, like white people and so forth. So anytime they make a joke about a white person, they're punching up, and it's okay, as opposed to white people punching down and, going with what the racists want to hear and say and, pandering to them. It's just totally different, it's totally opposite, and I can get on board with that. I can relate to them, I can empathise with them, and I don't feel they're hurting anyone or, degrading anyone because they're always punching up to people who are perceived as being above them and having more power than them. And that works. So, people like Josh Johnson, I'm going to blank out on names now. Matteo Lane. There's some gay comedians and some black comedians I've been watching lately. And the woman from Beef is Ali Wong. She had a really good set. I've just noticed a bunch of minority, diverse comedians who all talk about themselves first and then punch up. And I think that's the way to do comedy, which basically doesn't leave, giving them some credit. There is nowhere for white people to go unless they're making fun of themselves. So even if you're not a racist or a bigot or something, you are kind of screwed. I do admit that. But unfortunately, some of the comedians are racist and misogynistic and homophobic and everything, and they love punching down because they see themselves as the centre of the world and the top of the world and everything, so they're kind of gross. But for the ones who aren't racist, I do feel a little bit bad because they don't have very far they can go. They don't have much range, so they're kind of limited unless they join that MAGA crowd. And I mean, I'm not saying they should do that, but the ones who are successful go that route. So yeah, and I sort of look back at this and like, it kind of makes sense. People like Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart, some of these guys, I watched their comedy specials, they're pretty good. And it was the same thing. They were talking about their own community and punching up. and even when they were being a little bit racist towards white people, you could kind of let it go because it was just nothing compared to, you know, what's coming from the white people. So I could forgive a little bit of it because, you know, they're not exactly going to hurt us. They're not exactly going to destabilize the whole, you know, systematic racism issue just by a few, you know, jokes about white people at their expense. So, like I said, punching up, I'm okay with it. So yeah, I just wanted to have that, share that little epiphany. I realised that I'm enjoying comedy more now because it's more diverse. And the reason why I didn't like it before was it was mostly white people punching down, and it kind of grossed me out. And I just had that combination of enjoying some really good comedy from Josh Johnson, and then the next video that came up was this little clip of Matt Rife just trashing trans people and justifying it and being just an ugly bigot. And I'm like, oh, I see the contrast and why this is working for me.